Metal Jesus, I'm back again with another video. Now usually I'm talking about some retro game, but you know, occasionally I do like to bust out my iPad and play some newer stuff on there. I actually find this device to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of innovation going on here. So I have a bunch of games that I've been playing lately and I thought you might want to take a look. These are a lot of fun. Let's go. Oscura is a 2D platformer with a really unique visual style, similar to Limbo that came out on consoles and PCs. For instance, everything in the foreground is all in shadow, and everything in the background is these wild sort of swirls of color. It's a stunning yet kind of disturbing game. It's beautiful though. The controls in this game are surprisingly responsive and they just feel really nice. And you know, I know that not every iPad game can say that, but this one you can tell they put a lot of time and effort into getting the controls just right. Two of its key features are the ability to slow down time. If you collect these crystals, you build up the ability to temporarily slow down time, which helps solve some of the platforming puzzles. And also this game is fairly difficult, but it's not unfair. And so you're meant to die quite a bit as you learn the levels, but you never get the feeling of being too frustrated, which I really appreciate. Next up is Mass Effect Infiltrator, which is a third-person shooter that works as a side story, but is part of the bigger Mass Effect 3 universe. You play as a Cerberus operative that learns that Cerberus may not be as peaceful as they seem. You go around gathering evidence of Cerberus crimes as you travel from planet to planet, and the cool thing is that you earn galactic readiness points in this game that will also show up in the main Mass Effect 3 game. Now this game is brought to us by the same developers that made, frankly, the excellent Dead Space game that came out on the iPad. And it has a pretty unique cover system and firing mechanic, although when it first came out, a lot of people were not crazy about it. So they've actually released a couple new versions of this game, and it now supports the new iPad with the Retina display, and they also have multiple options for firing. So now you can actually manually aim in this game, which helps quite a bit. Now, I am a huge, drooling Mass Effect fan, so I'm the perfect person to get this game, but I would say it definitely feels like a side mission, so it's not easy to recommend to everybody. However, if you get it on sale, and you're looking for a game that kind of shows off the graphic power of your iPad, it's not bad. It can definitely be a lot of fun. Now, here's a game I have to admit I have spent way too much time playing. I actually really like this game. It's called Whale Trail, and it looks simple and bubbly, and it is, but it is so much fun. It's actually, I think it's kind of an example of just how fun simple mobile games can be. And the best thing is this game is free. I mean, there's no reason why everyone shouldn't try this game. In this game, you play a whale that flies through the air, and for whatever reason, these dark clouds are ruining his day. And so if you touch them for too long, they'll suck out all of the whale tail juice that you've got, I guess, and make you crash. And so you're trying to stay in the air as long as possible. It's completely randomly generated. And as you're flying through the air, your whale tail slowly, I guess, runs out of juice. And so you're trying to always hit these colored balls that kind of keep you going. And you just want to go for as long as possible. But the beauty of this game is that there's kind of like an RPG element to it. And so you start off not very powerful, you suck really bad, but as you earn coins, I guess it's called coins, but you earn the ability to unlock better, longer tails, more power-ups, and just a whole load of other stuff. It's definitely a lot of fun. Here's quite possibly the weirdest and wackiest game in this video, but I absolutely love it. It's so funny and so interesting. And it's called Monsters Ate My Condo, and it's basically a match 3 game. And what you're seeing here are monsters of different colors on either side of your stack of condos that keep falling from the sky, and you can feed condos of the same color to the different monsters and create power-ups. It's the weirdest concept, And it can be kind of annoying at times, yet it's very addictive. I actually think this game is brilliant. My wife thinks it's kind of nutty, but I don't know. I just really dig it. So if you're looking for something unique and a little out there, a little wacky, definitely check out Monsters Ate My Condo. Here's a game I was kind of surprised with, and that is the Lego Harry Potter game on the iPad. Now, I played a bunch of the Lego games on my 360 and also on the PSP, but I was kind of surprised at how deep this game is and how close it is to the real console versions. In this version, you play through years 1 through 4, and it covers most of the big adventures that Harry Potter and his buddies go through in the movies. And there are just a ton of different levels in this game. Again, it feels really big for a download-only game. And it's a great value for the money. I actually picked this up on sale for only $1. Now, if you know me, you know that I am a huge racing game fan. And I was kind of surprised just how well built and how much fun Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing is on the iPad. This game is actually a lot of fun and kind of close to the big console version. I think one of the first things I noticed about this game is just how smooth the frame rate is. I mean, it's rock solid, and the graphics aren't as good as the 360 version, obviously, but they really nailed the smooth frame rate. Also, this game has great controls and multiple options for controls too. So I think by default it has the tilt on, which I'm not a big fan of, and so I actually turned on the little slider down in the left-hand corner. And after a game or two, I was completely in control of my car and just was having a blast. I'm a big fan of shoot 'em ups, or shmups as some people call them, and specifically vertical shooters. And so I was kind of intrigued when some of my friends told me about this game called Dragonflight, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's very easy to play, and it's really hard to master. It's actually meant to be played in short bursts, so it's perfect for mobile gaming. Now, typically rounds only last anywhere from maybe 30 seconds to just a couple minutes. This game gets very hard very quickly, and you're meant to just sort of keep restarting and restarting while you're earning coins for better ships and upgrades. Now, one caveat with this game is that it's really designed for in-app purchases, and that's the reason why it's free, frankly, is that you can jump into this game, give it a shot, and play it for as long as you want and slowly earn enough coins to unlock stuff. But really, what you'll end up probably doing is spending $1 or $2 in the game just to buy enough coins so that you can get a better ship or get some upgrades without having to just put a ton of time into it. That said, I really do like this game. It's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it for shooter fans. Here's a game I found to be a bit of a surprise, and that is a game called Lost Winds. Now, I think most people would describe this not a 3D platformer, but like a 2.5D platformer, where it's actually 2D, but all the backgrounds are rendered in 3D, and it's beautiful. I mean, the amount of artwork and detail in this game is just stunning. Now, in addition to the beautiful graphics, this game has a really neat and interesting control system. You guide your character almost like an adventure game where you click on the left or the right of the screen and he just sort of walks there. But it's called Lost Wind for a reason, and that's because you also control the wind. So if you swipe your finger in a direction, you actually will lift him to other platforms that may be above him, or you can actually interact with the environment. Now, admittedly, I haven't gotten very far into this game yet, but I get the feeling that there is a lot of content here. So if you're fans of 2D platformers that are really well made, this might be worth checking out. I'm a big fan of endless running games like Jetpack Joyride and Temple Run. Those are all great games. And Madcoaster actually is another great game in that list. And I'd actually heard about this game. There's actually a lot of endless runners out there, but the vast majority of them are not very good. Well, this one is a lot of fun. It gets all the elements right. It's not too hard, but yet not too easy. It starts off slow, but gets really fast. You've got a bunch of different power-ups and leveling that you can do. There's a bunch of really interesting different backgrounds, and it's just perfect for playing a game, you know, for a couple minutes. You don't want something too deep. You just kind of want to get in, have some fun, and get out. And that's what this game does. And I like it quite a bit. If you've been gaming on an Apple device for a while, this next game is not going to be new to you. I mean, most people have heard of the Infinity Blade series. And there's a reason for that. It's because they're frankly excellent. And what you're seeing here is Infinity Blade 2 running on the iPad 2. And they're just so beautiful. I mean, if you want to show people what the iPad can do, load up this game and show them. But more than just pretty graphics, there's a lot of gameplay in both of these games. And I think that's the reason why they're still popular even today. There's a lot of really interesting enemy designs and different challenges. There's also beautiful levels to go through here, and there's actually a interesting and kind of deep story. I mean, you'd never guess it. It looks fairly basic, but there's actually a lot going on in this game. I also think something needs to be said for the easy to learn and difficult to master combat engine that was designed for touch. There's a lot going on in this game. I mean, you can dodge, you can block, you can parry, there's a magic system in place, there's a full RPG for all the different elements that you carry, and every enemy has its own strategy. So there's a lot of thinking involved in this game, and there's a lot to uncover if you are a fan of role-playing games. Definitely check out Infinity Blade. Here's a quirky and kind of cool racing game I found recently called Slingshot Racing. Now, what makes this really neat is that, first of all, it's a lot of fun, and it has a unique one-button gameplay. The main mechanic in this game is very simple. Anytime you put your finger down on the screen, your car will shoot out a grappling hook that will grab onto a pole and then swing you around a corner. So you don't actually control the car itself, you just control the grappling hook. And you're constantly tapping on the screen, almost to rhythm, as you launch yourself around this course. Now, that may sound easy, but let me assure you this game can be very tricky, and there's tons of different environments, including ice ones where you're sliding all over the place. And yeah, it's definitely a cool game. It's not perfect, but it is great if you have just a couple minutes and you just want to kind of quickly play a unique racing game on the go. That's just some of the iPad games I've been playing lately. If you like this video, I've actually got an entire series of videos on my channel where I cover a bunch of games I've been playing over the last couple of years, and also a lot of the applications that I use. And the great thing is that they work usually for the iPad and the iPhone. As always, I want to thank you for watching my channel, and thank you for subscribing. Take care.